Welcome to Kids Teach, where online students share their skills and insights beyond the classroom. James, the CEO of K-12, is excited to hear from students how online learning is transforming their education and opening new possibilities in their lives. Knowledge comes in many forms, and it's always surprising what we can learn when we let kids teach.
I'm here today with three amazing athletes. They're all here to talk about how they're chasing their dreams. We're going to sort of dive into a little bit today into what's making them work towards their goals and aspirations. So I'm really excited to dive into it today. Why don't we kick off with a little bit of introduction? Joseph, why don't you start and just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, my name is Joseph. I'm in the 9th grade, and I'm an international fencing competitor.
I'm Kenyon. I'm a junior, and I play American football.
I'm Izzy. I'm a senior, and I'm a professional ballerina. We're training to be.
All right. Well, you've got some amazing talent here. Let me just start off by asking each of you, how did you get into starting the sport that you're into? And I'm going to start off, I'll let everybody know, my son is actually a fencer as well. So I have a little bit of a connection with Joseph. Actually, I had connected with his parents a couple months ago when I found out that they were a fencing family, and turns out we've probably been in the same venue unknowingly to each other. But I'm just curious, like how did each of you start out in your chosen athletic pursuit? Izzy, why don't we start with you?
My mom just threw me into a ballet class when I was
How old
younger.
were you?
I was probably 6 years old.
6 years old, yeah.
Yep, just one of those extracurriculars.
And is that sort of like a natural age to start doing ballet?
I'd say roughly.
Yeah.
A lot of dancers train even younger than I am, going into like professional careers.
Yeah, so 6 years old. So you've been doing it for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. How about you, Ken?
I started in 3rd grade. I always watched football growing up, but I didn't know that there was.
Is your dad a big football fan?
No, he's actually big on basketball. My whole dad's side of the family.
Okay, so it wasn't like you're sitting around watching football with your dad and dad and told you just.
I played a lot of basketball when I was much younger.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I really started playing tackle football in 3rd grade that I found my love for the sport.
Oh, you just.
So my dad was a fencer in college. He was the one who introduced me into the sport when I was 5.
And now, Joseph, again, I know a little bit about fencing. In fencing, there's 3 different swords.
Yeah.
Tell us which sword you fence with.
I compete in foil.
In foil. And is that the sword your dad competed in as well? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a foil family.
Foil family.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And sorry, you were how old when you started?
I was 5.
5.
Yeah.
And so, again, is that a normal age to start?
Well, I was 5. I just started attending my classes. I wasn't competitive or at all not serious about it.
Yeah.
But the normal age is about 8.
Did you like it at first, or did you just do it because your dad told you to do it?
Well, I started because my dad told me to do it, but I developed.
Over time, you started to enjoy it?
Yeah.
So, okay, I want to ask each of you, what's the favorite part of your sport, and what's the part you like least? Ken, why don't we start with you?
Oh, wow. My favorite part is probably the physical contact. I know that probably sounds weird to a lot of
a lot of boys though,
but
a lot of boys, right? You like the aggression, right?
With my position, I play outside linebacker, so I usually I hit people a lot.
Yeah,
and, I mean, I enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's weird to say.
Well,
but
when you were younger, did you play offense and defense?
Yeah, I was pretty much much bigger than a lot of the kids my age.
Yeah,
so I played offensive line and defensive line.
Yeah,
which obviously I'm not really big enough for that now. Now the boys are like way past my height. But I did a lot definitely as a young football player.
Did you like, when you were younger, did you like offense more or did you like defense more?
I think I've always liked defense more.
Yeah.
Just because
you get to hit kids.
Yeah, hitting people is just something that's not really part of anything else you can do.
Okay.
For me, I love performing. I love like the storytelling part of dance.
Yes. What's the biggest stage you've performed on? Like, what's the biggest audience you've?
I've performed on DeVos Performance Hall in Grand Rapids with the Grand Rapids Ballet Company, and that was a theater of a few thousand people.
Okay.
Like it was. I can't get you an exact number. It's a massive show though, like a huge performance hall.
Yeah. Okay. Joseph, how about you?
So fencing has a large involvement of using strategy in your brains, and you're trying to outwit the opponent. And that's kind of what draws me to the sport.
The mental part of it.
Yeah. I like to work my way through problems and set traps.
Yeah.
And kind of outwit my opponent.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit of a chess match.
Yeah.
You know, and depending on your opponent too, right? Because each opponent sort of brings something different to the table. You've got to sort of figure out how to counter what they're bringing to the table a little bit too, right?
Yeah. Actually, fencing is it has a nickname of it's called physical chess because you're going back and forth. You're seeing what works, what doesn't work. You're trying to make the opponent make a mistake, make a certain action that you're gonna take advantage of. So for me, it's just using strategy and kind of using your mind to win.
And what's the hardest thing about each of your sports? What's the thing that you least enjoy getting up in the morning to do?
For me, I least enjoy, because in fencing you have to be very physically fit. I least enjoy running track, because you have to run a lot.
You really enjoy the mental aspect a lot more than the physical aspect, it sounds like.
Well, I enjoy the physical aspect. I just hate running.
You hate the training aspect. Yeah.
Specifically running.
How about you, Ken?
For me, it's definitely the physical challenge of staying healthy. Yeah, I think I definitely enjoy weightlifting, strength training, and stuff like that. And I enjoy trying to be at the physical peak, but all the injuries I've sustained has been pretty hard to recover through. Like this last season I had to play because, my legs and my knees are all shot. I've had 2 ACL surgeries and 1 scope done.
Yeah.
And I might get a 4th surgery.
Wow. And you still want to keep doing it?
Oh, yeah. From football.
When you're injured and you can't play, do you get down? Is it depressing?
Yeah, it's probably the hardest thing I've ever been through, especially just relying on other people so much, like being on crutches and stuff like that. And then I had to be in a wheelchair at one point. It's really hard for me to rely on other people, but I think overall it's been a really humbling experience.
How about you, Izzy?
I'd say it's the mental aspect. You said you like the mental part of fencing. I hate the mental part of dancing. It's so much of perfectionism. I'm not as good as I should be, or she's better than me. It's really hard to get over that.
What is the competitive? Is it scoring or points or what, or is it just
not in the ballet world. There is competitions that you can go to, and I used to compete.
Yeah.
But now I'm focusing more on company and performing.
And is the I don't know, the community of dancers pretty small, so you always sort of know who you're up against, I guess, right? Who you're competing.
Yeah, with my studio, it's I can kind of map out who I think could get what,
right?
And I'm trying to figure out where I can go, how I can be better, or how I can be better than myself, really.
And if you don't get the role that you want, is there a second role that you end up doing, or are you not in the production, or?
You don't necessarily say, I want this role. It's up to the choreographer or the directors to say, oh, you're a good person for this role.
Right.
Or oh, I want to see you in a different role.
But is it ever disappointing when they say, okay, I want you for this role and you sort of wanted this other role?
Definitely. Yeah. You always have what you want, your dream role.
Right.
To not get it is a little hard, but each role is perfect and each role has its own meaning.
Right.
So you can't put on a show with just the main character.
Yeah. How do you guys deal with the setbacks? How do you cope? I know it sounds like for you, your faith helps a lot, but how, beside your faith, how did you deal with the setbacks of being injured?
I think the people around me really helped me a lot with my church family. My family at home a lot, because that's just, the seasons, the moving around, outside, getting around, driving me places, especially physical therapy. You got to get to and from there. That's a lot. And I think a lot of my core friends, when I was in public school, it was very hard for me to get around places, but my friends would always help me out. And that was mostly the humbling part, was just relying on so many people, especially in public spaces.
It's interesting, in a football game, say, right? You're playing 4 quarters and you have a score up and down or whatever, and then the game ends and you either win or lose, right? In fencing, actually, you go through actually a series of matches during the course of a day, and it's broken out into 2 parts, if you will. There's a part where you do like a round robin pool against a bunch of other competitors, and then you go into like a tournament bracket, which is like March Madness, so like a tournament bracket like that, and that's a single elimination. So you're out. And so during the course of a day, you could have these ups and downs of like your pool, but you gotta if you lose a bout, you have to actually get past it, because one is you usually have another bout, but then you got to go into the tournament bracket almost no matter what. So I know those days can have a lot of ups and downs. How do you deal with those ups and downs, Joseph?
Yeah, as you said, some days can just be such an emotional roller coaster. You win your first bout, you're feeling good, you're feeling strong. Then you go into your next bout, you lose 5-4, you're down, but you have to get back into the mindset. So what I do, I try to have like a motto that I repeat to myself to kind of get me back in the game. Or I have like for me, I have like a bracelet on my wrist, and whenever I'm like down or in a bout, or if I'm losing or the referee makes the wrong call, I look at my bracelet and kind of like reassures me that, I'm still going to have my family, still going to have my friends, still going to have my life, but it doesn't matter if I lose.
I'm a Izzy. How do you deal with setbacks?
I fall back on my friends and my family. I call them a lot.
Yeah.
When I don't have a part or something, or even if it's like a bad dance.
Did you move to be closer to like a better ballet area or whatever? Yeah. So your parents sacrificed a lot to get you into a location that was better for your ballet, right? Yeah, that's great. And so was even just the process of moving, that's a little bit of a setback too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was hard. Still is. I miss a lot of my home family.
So tell me, all of you, you're in high school now, all of you, right? Is this something you want to pursue after high school? Like, what's next? What's the post high school athletic world look like for each of you?
For me, I definitely do want to continue this. And it's all about just getting your name out there, going to auditions for different companies.
Is there a college level, like, do colleges do ballet? Is that?
There are some that have ballet programs. You can major in dance. I'm more looking for performing, so like ABT, different like large companies who put on shows instead of just studying for it.
Does that mean that when you finish high school, you may not go to college and you might go directly to just focusing on performance, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the plan? Is that the hope or the desire?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay. This audition, yeah.
Yeah. What would sort of success then in the ballet sort of world look like? You start touring, you get parts, you develop a career out of it, is that?
Yeah. So each company, normally it's like, there's different levels, there's different like tiers. So you start as like a trainee or like an apprentice, which aren't really paid positions. But then as you move up in the company, the longer you stay there, the more you'll make, the more you'll perform. And like the top like tier, I guess, would be like primas or principal dancers. Those are like who get the main roles. So that would be a goal of mine.
Ken, what's next for you?
I definitely want to get a scholarship to play football.
When does like recruiting, is there like a recruiting timetable or?
Recruiting kicks off a lot for guys their junior year of high school, which I missed this season, so I'm a bit behind. But a big part of that is getting out to camps during the summer.
So this summer is a big summer for you? Yeah, it is. All right, Jess, how about you? What's next?
Well, after high school, I would, of course, like to fence in college. I would like to be on the team for colleges. So colleges have like a team, and then they have like lower levels. They have a club team that it goes. Right. I would like to be on the team.
You've each achieved a certain level of success in your respective sport. And if you had to give advice to somebody, like, how do you achieve that success? What's it take, to really go after the kind of success that you guys are going after? What would you say? What advice would you give people?
I would say find your support system. Find people who will like help you, raise you up. I mean, I have my mom who comes to everything with me. We've traveled a lot together. But find like a family to fall back on, whether you're related or not.
Yeah, support system.
I'd agree that your support system is super important. Like if you have goals and dreams that you want to accomplish, like having people that'll push you to even do more than what you're doing, whether you might think that that's like a lot, but having people that'll push you is really, really important. I would also say consistency with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because, it's not something that you can really like cheat. Like consistency will never,
Perseverance, consistency.
it'll never fault you.
Yeah. Just how about you?
So I think that one of the definitely most important parts of achieving your goals and being successful is the psychological and the mental aspect, because like the second you start to panic, or you start to like have doubts that you're not gonna achieve those goals, or you're not gonna get there, you're not gonna get that spot or get that role or get that spot on the team, then everything goes downhill from there. You just have to like stay strong, as you said, like push through. I know it sounds very like cliche, very, everybody says that, but like it's so true.
I've been the CEO of this company for about 4 years, and it's been a real learning experience and journey for me. I still sort of think it's the first time I've ever been the CEO of a company. I'm so sort of thinking of myself as a rookie. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I've got 4 years now behind me, so I've got at least a little bit of experience. If you had any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Being a head of a company, you probably have to fit a lot of things in your day. Have time for family, time for work, time for play, time for exercise. Probably, I imagine, time for food. How do you, at the end of the day, like feel satisfied that you've done, enough work, or you spend enough time with family, or how do you fit all that into your schedule?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'll tell you, well, first, prioritization is just so important, I think. For me, my family's my priority. It's my number one priority. I used to tell my son, I always want to be there for you for the important stuff. But that is a flip side to it, which is there's a lot of stuff that's just less important that I probably won't show up for, but I'm always going to be there for the important stuff. And so a lot of that balance when you're, I'm not the only one. A lot of professionals are just super busy. There are a lot of people who are in much more difficult time management positions than I am, because I have one job. There are a lot of parents out there who have to juggle 2 jobs and kids and stuff like that. So I'm actually pretty fortunate. But I think a lot of it has just to do with make sure you're prioritizing the right way.
What's your favorite part about your job, and what do you look forward to do?
Okay, so in a way, this is my favorite and least favorite part. I'm 55, so I'm sort of more towards the end of my career. And for most of my career, I didn't really do things for their impact. But now that I'm towards the end of my career, the most important thing for me is impact. The thing that K-12 does is it really helps a lot of families in unique situations. It offers them an alternative. And I think that's really healthy for this country. I think that, I like to say that, education in this country has not really looked at their customers like customers. Education in this country tends to look at their customers like an entitlement. And I think that we as a country would be better off looking at our customers like customers. And part of that is meeting and understanding who your customers are. Mm-hmm. And that's like one of the, I think, amazing parts about my job is I actually have a chance to really understand who our customers are.
How do you stay coordinated through everything? Like you have so many things lined up. How do you figure out or even organize everything?
Yeah. It's funny. I think a lot of people have this perception oh, CEOs are so busy or they're so important or they have so much to do. And, there's a sort of a dirty little secret about being a CEO that I like to tell people is that CEOs don't really do anything. We're managing a lot usually, but it's not like, I'm not writing curriculum. I'm not teaching classes, I'm not really doing the important stuff, if you know what I mean. And so we have so much control over our days and our schedules. We can say no. Like a lot of people can't. Their boss says do something, like,
Yeah.
we'll have to do it. Like, I mean, I can say no to a lot of things. So I feel really fortunate. I have the ability to coordinate my schedule the way I want. I curate it for the things that I think are most important. Today, usually I have a series of meetings on Fridays. I cancel all the meetings for this, and because I think this is more important. So I have a ton of flexibility that a lot of people don't have. And it's a real blessing to be able to prioritize the things that I think are most important. The show here is Kids Teach. And, and I think that's an appropriate title because, we've spent the past hour and I've learned a ton. So I really want to thank each of you for coming on today and teaching me a little bit. It's been really enlightening for me. And I hope I can sort of see your progressing towards your goals, and hopefully you'll keep in touch with me and let me know that you've all achieved, hopefully, the things that you want to achieve.
And to all you out there, thanks for tuning in and learning with us. If you'd like to find out more about online school and K-12, head over to k12.com. And don't miss the next episode when we let kids teach.